This is my arrangement today of this beautiful, sparse, gentle song. The chords today: C over G, G, F over C, A-7, and C. We're in 3/4 time today, which is what gives us that nice lullaby feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we're in the key of C. So taking our first 4 bars, we start with the C over G chord, lovely rich chord, and what this does is allows us with our thumb to get the bass notes in there and not interfere with the other strings while we're playing the melody. So we start by picking with our thumb on the A string, middle finger on the G string at the same time. Then our thumb comes to the low E, and middle finger on the chord hand drops down to the G string to play the melody. So that's 2nd fret and then open G. And then we come back with our thumb and index finger to play the A and the D. And our middle finger on the chord hand has returned to the D string. And we play a final note on the thumb on the E string 3rd fret. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. We play this again, exactly the same. Moving on to bar 5, we now move on to the G chord. All we're going to do is leave our 3rd finger where it is for the C over G, bring our pinky to the B string, and with our thumb and middle finger on the picking hand, play these 2 strings at the same time. We drop our thumb on the picking hand to the D string, play that on its own, then index finger plays the G, then we return to the B and the E string with the thumb and the middle finger to play these at the same time. On the chord hand, you take the pinky off, and with our thumb and middle finger play the D string and the B string at the same time. And then the thumb returns on its own to the low E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Moving back to the C over G, the 3rd finger's already in place. We play on the picking hand, the thumb on the A string, middle finger on the B string. Then the thumb jumps to the E string, index finger to the G string, and then the thumb and middle finger to play at the same time, the D and B strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Thumb comes to the A string, index finger to the G string, plays those at the same time, and thumb on the E string by itself. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. We now move to the F/C chord. On our chord hand, the 1st finger remains in place. The other 3 fingers move down a string. So it's a nice straightforward or small chord change. On our picking hand, we move to the middle 2 strings. So we have the thumb on the D, index finger on the G. Play these at the same time. Thumb comes to the A string, index finger to the D string, and then thumb and middle finger play the A and the G. We then bring the thumb down to the G string, the middle finger to the B, play these at the same time. Thumb comes up to the D, middle finger remains where it is. On the F over C chord, we take off our index finger to play the open B string. Play these at the same time, and then move the thumb to the A and the middle finger to the G, and play these at the same time. we change to the C over G to play essentially what were the first 2 bars in the entire song. We repeat the 2 bars from the F over C. And then repeat the same 2 bars from the C over G. I'll repeat that section, the F over C and C over G. Moving on to the G chord, our 3rd finger on our chord hand is already in place. Again, remove the other fingers, add the pinky to the B string, 3rd fret. We're going to play those 2 strings together. So thumb on the E string, as we did previously, middle finger on the B string, play those at the same time. Thumb comes down to play the D, index finger plays the G, and then the thumb and finger return to the E and B to play those 2 strings together. On our chord hand, we add the 1st finger to the 1st fret of the high E to create a G7 chord. We bring our middle finger on the picking hand to the high E. Thumb plays the G, play those at the same time. Thumb jumps to the low E, middle finger plays the B, and then thumb comes back to the D string, middle finger plays the B, but we've taken our pinky off to open up that B string. Playing the 2 bars with the G. We then move on to the C of G. Thumb plays the A string, middle finger plays the B string. At the same time, thumb comes up to play the E, index finger plays the G, and then the thumb comes down to play the D, middle finger plays the B. We change chord to the Am7 and do a staggered If you want, you could just use your thumb to rake the strings. I like the independence it gives me with the separate fingers. So I use thumb, index, middle, ring and pinky on this hand. Let that ring out for the 3 beats. And then we move to a C chord. Play thumb on the A, middle finger on the B, thumb on the D, index finger on the G, thumb on the A, index finger on the D. We move on to a G here, but I've brought this up to the 5th fret of the high E string, and the thumb is going to play the open G string, the middle finger is going to play the high E. We're going to slide down to the 1st fret of the high E string, play the high E with the middle finger, and the thumb is going to play the D string. So we get a descending bass note, and then we're going to play that G shape we've been doing throughout with the 3rd finger, 3rd fret E, low E, and pinky, 3rd fret B. So it just gives us a lovely little break to the higher notes. We then have an F/C chord. Play those all at the same time, those middle 4 strings with the fingers for me. Thumb, index, middle, ring. And then thumb plays the A string, index finger plays the D string, and then I'm using my middle and ring to play the G and B and my thumb to play the A. So we get this. 1 and 2 and 3 and then we rake the C chord. Again, you can do that with your thumb, or if you want the independence, you want the variety, play the middle 4 strings, thumb, index, middle, and ring fingers. In this lesson, I show you how to play a lovely picking version of White Christmas. I'll see you next time.